Dear Matt and Toby, I'm taking an AP European History exam in the later Middle Ages this week. What was the Hundred Years' War? From Ethan B.
Well, Ethan, that's an interesting question.
The Hundred Years' War was a war that lasted for 100 years. The end.
Actually, Toby, the war lasted for 116 years. Its name is used by historians to describe the series of conflicts between the French and English kingdoms that occurred from 1337 to 1453. There are two major causes of the war. The first was a disagreement over the political position of the English king, Henry III.
In 1066, a French noble named William the Conqueror made claims over the throne in England and was successful in forcing out the Anglo-Saxon king. This event allowed the French to more majorly influence and transform English culture. For example, French became the language of the nobles in England, and it soon was integrated into the Anglo-Saxon language to form the English language. However, this also meant that future English kings would hold some French lands.
Secondly, there was a dispute over claims to the French throne. The French monarchy was ruled by the Capetian family for over 400 years. From 1285 to 1314, France was ruled by King Philip IV. But after all his sons died, France faced a major problem. There were no more male heirs left to become king.
There were two key players in the power struggle that ensued: King Edward III of England and Philip, the Duke of Valois. Edward argued that he had the right to the French throne because his mother Isabella was Philip IV's daughter. However, the French nobility argued that Edward's claim was illegitimate, stating that inheritance can't pass through the female line because they didn't want an English king to rule. So the nobility decided to establish a cousin of Philip IV, Philip the Duke of Valois, as the next monarch in 1328, and Philip became King Philip VI.
Philip VI became determined to take back Gascony from Edward, so Philip VI did just that in 1337. Of course, Edward III disputed Philip's actions and responded by declaring war.
I win.
Oh well. Anyway, although the English didn't look to be such a big threat to the French, Edward III implemented new strategies that helped England achieve many victories. Although the English were outnumbered by more than 10,000 troops, the use of the longbow led the army to victory in the Battle of Crécy.
This is the first time I've ever pulled out.
Soon after the Battle of Crécy, however, the Black Plague began to ravage the European countryside, killing Philip VI. King John II took over as the King of France in 1350. 5 years later, Edward III's son, Edward IV, who came to be known as Edward the Black Prince, began ravaging the French countryside in the event known as the Great Chevauchée. He burned crops and terrorized villages until he was confronted at the Battle of Poitiers by the new king in 1356. It seems the French would win with their greater numbers, but Edward the Black Prince was successful in leading English troops to capture King John II. Without their king, France became dangerous and chaotic. As a result, King John II agreed to sign the Peace of Bretigny, in which King John II was returned to France, England acquired much of French lands, and they were no longer vassals to France.
Toby, wake up!
Sorry, what were you saying? I was just having a lucid dream where I could eat my own feces without consequence.
Similar to Toby's restful state, there was minimal conflict between France and Britain for 55 years. However, from 1407 to 1435, the French noble houses of Burgundy and Orleans fought in the Armagnac-Burgundian Civil War over disputes for control of the schizophrenic French king, Charles VI. The King of England, Henry V, decided to take advantage of the situation and send armies to attack the French. In the Battle of Agincourt, the French were defeated and Henry V took over Normandy.
Charge! Yeah!
The English and the House of Burgundy formed an alliance, which forced Charles VI to agree to the Treaty of Troyes in 1420. The treaty stated that Henry V would marry the daughter of the French king, Catherine, so that Henry would be the heir to the French throne. Charles VI's son, Charles the Dauphin, who would have been the heir to the French throne, did not accept the treaty and believed himself to still be the heir to the French throne.
So pissed about this marriage, man. Ah. New variable, let's just
Joan traveled to the French court, and the king
What even is
was
religion? I
overwhelmed
wanna
when
know.
he heard Joan's plan.
What do you mean?
Muhammad?
He allowed Joan to travel with the French army to the province of Orleans, where she inspired the troops to liberate Orleans and other areas. Within a few weeks, the French were free from British rule.
In July 1429, Charles the Dauphin was crowned King of France. Sadly, Joan of Arc was captured by the House of Burgundy, tried as a heretic, and burned at the stake. Over the next 20 years, the French won the majority of the battles in the 100 Years' War because of their use of the cannon. However, Joan of Arc was not around to see the successful French victory she had started.
Well, Ethan, we hope that helped you.
Yes, the 100 Years' War was an important historical event that greatly shaped how Europeans viewed their society. It helped lead to the ideological ferment that led to the Renaissance.
We hope you do well on your test, Ethan.
I deserve all the land in France.
那你信我的禀告。